Traders, we've got another great masterclass for you today, all about the TradingView platform. Today, we are talking about moving averages. Now, specifically, we are talking about the simple moving average, but in our upcoming videos, we will cover the other moving averages that are available to you. But to really get started here, let's just make sure you know the basics. You've got a chart open, just like this. You head up to the Indicators, Metrics, and Strategies menu. Then, of course, you can go to Technicals, which is where you will find the built-in technicals that you might be looking for. And once you find your simple moving average, which you can see here, you can go ahead and click that and it will be added to the chart. Now, if you click it twice, you will add two simple moving averages, or three times. Now we have three simple moving averages. Ultimately, you're going to want to click it for as many moving averages as you want, but let's start with one for now because that's the key thing. You want to learn how the moving average works. This is a beginner video. I am going to take you through the entire educational process of learning this tool. Now, as you can see here, we've got simple moving averages. I'm going to go ahead and delete the other ones I added and just keep this one simple moving average up, which is this blue line. Now, keep in mind, I'm on a chart of NVIDIA. Now, this part of the presentation is super important so you know how the indicator is calculated. As you can see, I'm looking at a daily chart, but of course, I could look at a 1-minute chart, a weekly chart, anything of the sort that is available to me on TradingView. The point is, and why that's so important, is that depending on the time interval of your chart, your moving average is being calculated based on those interval averages. So if we were to go to a 1-minute chart, now each candle represents 1 minute, this blue line here, which is our moving average, is being based off of each 1-minute bar. If we go to the daily chart, it's being based now on each daily trading session. Now I want to make sure you understand what we're looking at by default when you select the tool. And you can do that by hovering your mouse over where it says SMA, Simple Moving Average. We can see it says 9 and close. 9 refers to the length of the moving average. Now we're on a daily chart. That means this blue line here is a 9-day simple moving average. It is showing you the average price over every 9 days. So here's 1, 2, you get the idea. We could count the candles. And once we get to 9, those 9 candles are being averaged and shown to you in the most recent price here. And we could just walk backward to see how the line was constructed. So if you wanted to see the previous data point, well, now it starts here. And if you want to see the previous data point, well, now it starts here. 9 days. We're on a daily chart. But if we clicked 1 minute, now it's a 9-minute moving average. All right, now you've got the basics down. And by the way, this is a really important walkthrough as well for all the indicators you might use, because what I'm telling you is how these indicators are calculated, oftentimes based on the time interval you're looking at. Now, if we go ahead here and click Settings, you're going to see some important features that have come to this indicator. First of all, moving average, blue line. Well, you guessed it, that's the blue line here. You can change the color, look, and feel of this blue line to fit your exact needs. Now, I'm just going to make this line white. I'm going to make it thick. You can't miss it. This way, all of our attention is focused on this moving average because I'm going to get a little more advanced and I want to make sure you can really see it. All right, let's go back to the settings menu. Now I'm going to go to Inputs. This button here means inputs. This is exactly what it sounds like. This is the inputs into the moving average. How is it being calculated? You have this menu here to input anything you want to adjust its calculation. Recall I said length is 9. By default, it's 9. But if I wanted to make a 100-day moving average, meaning show me the price of NVIDIA over the last 100 days, check that out. We now know that this price is the average price of NVIDIA over the last 100 days. That's a fairly nice way to smooth out the price, to visualize the average price of an asset that people have been buying, selling, and trading on a daily basis and see it as one line like this. In fact, you can sort of see how it eliminates the noise as compared to all of the candlesticks. After all, candlesticks show you an open, high, lower close in a red or green color. So there's a lot of information here compared to just this smooth line. That's why some traders and investors love moving averages. It makes things simple. It slows things down. In fact, when you add a moving average to your chart, you can often find very interesting points where technical analysis comes into play. For example, it looks like NVIDIA recently revisited its 100-day moving average and it bounced. Not bad. In fact, it just recently revisited its moving average, 100-day moving average again, and it bounced. Now, you can go through moving averages just like this on any symbol, Forex, crypto pair, anything of the sort, to get a similar look. So if we click settings and now type in 200, now we're going to look at price over the last 200 days, and you can see not really any bounces, but a very clear trend with significant space also, by the way, between the 200-day moving average and the actual price action. In fact, NVIDIA has not even touched its 200-day moving average. Wow, it's been since January 2023. That's quite the bull run to not even go near its average price over the last 200 days. Now, once again, we open up this settings menu. I'm going to take this back to 100. And I can walk you through the other inputs so you know how to use this tool from start to finish. Now, you're often going to see source close. Once again, this is really going to help you with all the indicators on TradingView because as you can see here, it says 100 days, or 100 minutes, whichever our time interval is. And now we can see close. Well, recall that on a daily chart, there's an open high, low, and close. Open high, low, and close. Okay, so if there's an open, high, low, and close on this chart, how is the moving average being calculated? The open, high, low, or close? Well, you get to decide that. I want this moving average to be decided over the last 100 days based off of its closing price. Or how about its open price? If I click open, watch how this changes. I'm going to click open, and it changes a bit. Or perhaps you want the open, high, low, close. Or perhaps you want something entirely different, like just the high and the low. The choice is ultimately yours. By default, it's set to the close. A lot of investors tend to stick to just the close. Now, it's very important that we get into a few more key details here, which is that you can also add a moving average to this moving average. Yep, you guessed it. So check this out. I can add a simple moving average here and have it be 14. I can even add Bollinger Bands standard deviations to this moving average as well. If I really wanted to make this a, quite a complex tool, now we're looking at some really detailed moving average prices of NVIDIA over the last 100 days with a simple moving average on that moving average plus Bollinger Bands on that simple moving average. Now, let me explain that a little bit more because I know that was a lot, but you're going to learn quite a bit here. As mentioned, the white line is our moving average. So it's got a length of 100. Now, what if I told you we could add another simple moving average on that, say to tell us the average price of this 100-day simple moving average over the last 25 days? So 25. So now we've got a 100-day moving average as a white line, and then a 25-day moving average of this white line in yellow here. So you can track the actual movement and velocity of the core moving average you're looking at by adding a derivative moving average that's based on it here in yellow. The choice is yours. And once again, to get quite complex here, you can even add Bollinger Bands onto the moving average that's calculated based off of the moving average. And recall, in the style menu, you can customize these colors to your exact needs as well. Now, I know this might sound kind of advanced, but the point is that you have some really advanced capabilities here on TradingView to effectively create a very robust and detailed simple moving average indicator, and not even just the typical 100-day moving average, but having these moving averages on top of it. You could also have an exponential moving average. We'll explain in that video. Each of these really does need its own video because of the detail and complexity that goes into this. And of course, you can add a standard deviation as well. These are the Bollinger Bands here, these green lines. If I change it to 3, it'll expand. If I change it to 1, it'll contract. If you've ever taken a statistics course, you know all about the standard deviation and bell curves. But keep in mind, I have recorded a really in-depth Bollinger Band video series on the TradingView YouTube channel and in our Help Center. So go check that out if you want to learn more about that at this time. For now, I'm going to turn off the moving average on the moving average because I want to stay focused just on this moving average and keep things now simple until the completion of this video. Because one of the most important parts of this video now I can now explain to you is this calculation. Now, this calculation is imperative that you understand. Because as you can see here, it says calculation, time frame, chart. Well, chart means just what it sounds like. We are on NVIDIA right here in a daily chart. So this 100-day moving average is being calculated on a daily chart. But if I go to a minute chart, well, now it's a minute chart, so my 100-day moving average is being calculated on a minute basis. You're starting to see here, this is fully being calculated based off of the chart I'm looking at. Well, what if I told you I can keep this at a day, for example, or any time frame I see fit, and now it won't change no matter which way I change my chart time interval. It just will remain as a daily moving average. So check this out. I'm now going to go to a 45-minute chart, and I can still see my daily moving average right here. It's not updating. So this is no longer a 45-minute moving average. This is still a daily moving average. Now, this is a wonderful way to do what traders call multiple time frame analysis. It means you are looking at multiple time frames at once. On one hand, you're zoomed in, you're seeing 45-minute candles of NVIDIA, and on the other hand, you've got this big picture, long-term, 100-day white moving average right below it. You're seeing multiple time frames. And it gets better than that because you can add on moving averages of your choice based off of these settings. So indicators, metrics, and strategies menu. I can type in moving average. I can click simple moving average again. So now I've got that 9-day moving average by default in blue. I'm going to click settings here. I'm going to change this one. How about to yellow? Just simply can't miss it. I'll keep its thickness up here. Inputs, I'm going to do a 1-week moving average. And you know what? I'll even add some Bollinger Bands and a moving average on that as well. Click OK. Actually, that looks a little too hard to explain at this point in time. So let's actually take these Bollinger Bands off. And let's now change the time frame one more time. Let's go to 65 minutes. And now, why am I showing you all this? Well, check this out. We've now got the average price of NVIDIA over the last 9 weeks. That would be this yellow line. We've got the average price of NVIDIA over the last 100 days. And we've got the current price action of NVIDIA right here as 45-minute candles. We've technically now got 3 different time frames right here on our screen in front of us. And this allows us to think about the big picture. This is this 100-week moving average, maybe the medium term, this 9-week, 100-day, and the current price action. It really does not get much better than that in terms of combining these different time intervals and seeing a ton of information on one chart. And what's really cool about this is that, especially if you're a trader and say you are looking to trade something on a rather, maybe 1 minute might be a little too zoomed in. Let's go to 5 minutes. Okay, wonderful. On a 5-minute chart here, what you could really do is you could utilize this information to make more informed decisions while you're still heavily zoomed in on the chart. Now, it's also important to say that you'll notice these 2 moving averages are not fully updated on the chart yet. Well, because recall something very important. These are being calculated based off of the close. So if we do the open, let's do the open here for this one. Or let's actually do let's do the open. And let's also do the open here. Well, now we've just changed the calculation to the open, and these should be updated the second that the current session closes, and we'll see this just come right through the entire chart. Also, if you want to, you can use offset to push it forward as needed. So if we add 5 here, that didn't move it enough. If we do 100, let's see. There we go. So you can offset it by a specific number of bars to have it come through the chart as needed, especially if you're doing this type of multiple time frame analysis. And now you've sort of got this ability to offset it on your chart, a number of bars based off of your specific liking. But the point is that it gives you all of the capabilities you need to perform this level of multiple time frame analysis alongside a moving average. Now, there's a few other important things to know about moving averages, and that's that some people look for things like crosses. So, for example, I've got let's change this input to make it a 10-week moving average. There we go. So now what we've got is the 10-week moving average in yellow, the 100-day moving average in white, and then the current price action. Well, you can look for crosses. So when they sort of flip, the 10-week went below the 100-day, which you could maybe say that means the daily frame is sort of is picking up a little bit faster than the weekly time frame. So what does that tell you, right? It's momentum accelerating. So you can layer on moving averages to look for crosses. It's not only technical based, looking for these bounces on a moving average that matters to you, but also looking for the crosses to better understand the speed and momentum of the trade, whether the long term is fizzling out compared to the short term. You can do a number of different readings into it. There's an entire study on moving average crosses. But now that you understand moving averages, especially on TradingView, you have all of the capabilities that you need right before your eyes. So moving average, add it. We've now got 3 moving averages here. We can add as many time frames as we need. Bollinger Bands, a moving average on the moving average. It's all right here for our needs. And we can do with this now whatever type of research it is that we're looking to accomplish. So let me open up this settings here because I want to make one more very interesting moving average. In this case, let's do how about we do a 1 hour moving average. Let's make sure it kind of fits our style. Let's increase the thickness here. And now what we've got is a daily chart with these different moving averages here. We've got this 50 bar moving average on a 60-minute chart, a 10-week moving average, a 100-day moving average, white, purple, yellow. We can now track all of this as needed. And what's also fantastic, as you know about TradingView, is we can right-click on any of these moving averages and add an alert. Or we can even add an indicator or a strategy on top of this moving average. So if we wanted to add a strategy onto it and then back test it, we could. If we wanted to add another indicator onto this moving average, we could. But perhaps most importantly is we can add an alert. This is where things really get wonderful, because if we think, for example, this 100-day moving average is playing a significant role in NVIDIA's movement, well, let's create an alert and let's get notified the next time NVIDIA comes down to this price level. And then we just sit back and wait. The TradingView platform will inform us if NVIDIA ever comes down and revisits it, and we can make our decision accordingly. And if you want to learn more about alerts, we've got a YouTube video on our YouTube channel as well that dives deep into alerts, as well as our help center that has everything you could want about alerts as well, with walkthroughs, more videos, etc. And just make sure that you get familiar with this alert system, because now that you know how moving averages work, and by extension, some of the important features with indicators in general, including inputs and style, you also now can effectively create some very robust alerts. And just to end this video, keep in mind that as you get good with moving averages, just don't forget to right click on them, because there's a lot here for you to take advantage of. For example, about the script, you could read into it. Don't forget you can look into the source code yourself. So if you have any capability in PineScript and you want to learn about how the language or how this indicator is coded and how it actually reads when written out as PineScript or code, it's all right here. It's open to you to thoroughly vet and research yourself. See it right here, the underlying mechanics of the moving average and its calculations. Also, by right-clicking on the indicator as well, you're going to get some important drawing options. Your visual order, the front, back, forward, backward. What intervals you want to see the moving average on. You can also, of course, move it to different panes as well if you're using multiple charts. There's really just fantastic features here that you want to take advantage of. Even your object tree. If you ever lose a moving average, for example, don't forget to just open your object tree and you will see the moving averages right here. You can move them around as needed, group them as needed. You can do everything that you need here to effectively organize all of the tools that you're working with. And don't forget that if you want from this feature as well, you can quickly hide them, you can quickly delete them, and you can also, of course, manage other specific drawings as you get going so that you never lose your drawings as well directly from your object tree and data window as well. Also, if you're ever curious about the actual price points of the indicators you have on your chart, or in this case, the moving average, don't forget about the data window. So object tree and data window, we click, here's our object tree, we click data window. Now we can see the basics of NVIDIA here, but pay close attention as we scroll down. Here's our moving average. We see the exact price points of these moving averages, so we can always fact check their exact levels as needed. Now, without going any deeper, because there's a lot more for us to say and we want to record other videos, this is your introduction to moving averages, simple moving averages, especially on TradingView. And I hope that you found this video really informing and educational, and that whether you're an expert or a beginner, you learned something new. Be sure to check our Help Center for more and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get constant educational updates just like this.